Pinterest art templates are actually insane. They range from super simple to extremely detailed, so let's try them all. So this is the super easy one, and of course we are going to use the iconic glossy jelly. I would say 10 minutes on the timer, but this timer is completely broken, so no timer today. What if I just kept it like this? Now the purpose of these popular art templates is it gives you the opportunity to draw your OCs or your original characters, and since I don't have one, I'll just draw my persona, which looks like this. So that is who we'll be drawing, and sneak peek, we might have some templates that require 2 people, so definitely stick around to see who I end up drawing. Now the thing that makes it viyaura is the crazy cowlick, the little sparkles on the side, and kind of the off-the-shoulder hoodie vibe. And I don't mean to rush this one, but we were finished in about 2 minutes. Also, shout out to Bald Viyaura. But that is basically how Pinterest art templates work. I'll give this one like a 6 out of 10. I think we can do bigger and better, so let's move on to the next level. There's also a lot of like couple ones, like romantic ones. Maybe I could try one of these. And same brush, but this time I think we'll try drawing directly on top of it. Last time I kind of drew it to the side, so my proportions were a little bit off, but I know some people also like drawing directly on top of the template, so let's give that a go. Now, because we're still on the easy level, I am simplifying myself a lot. When we move on to the harder ones, we will definitely make myself a little bit more detailed, but for now, we are gonna make myself look very simplified. Now, I'm thinking, instead of whatever this is squishing, maybe like a tadpole, it's a tadpole, right? I don't know, the entire time I'm just like, that's a tadpole. How about I'll draw myself squishing an axolotl, because I do have a little axolotl pixel emoji that you guys can use in the comments, but instead of me squishing the life out of it, I'll make it look like I'm just like gently holding on to it, like I'm not squishing the life out of it. So axolotls have these little hair things sticking out, very cute. So yeah, I'm not squishing it too hard, it's just a light holding on to it. Okay, one of the things that I'm working on is knowing when to stop drawing, and I think this fits the art style quite nicely, so I will stop here. This took me maybe about 8 minutes, I would say. And of course, we have to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, so I will give this one a solid 5.2 out of 10, and let's move on to the next one. Now, a lot of these templates involve 2 characters, and I kind of want to do like a romance-related art template just because I think that would be so funny to see. And my sister and I really loved playing like these 3D dating simulator games, so this challenge comes at perfect timing because the super well-known game, you probably know them, Love and Deep Space, is introducing Caleb's new appearance as a Chinese-style Hades. Oh my gosh, look at that, so cool. So if you don't know, Love and Deep Space is a first-person view story game where the player goes on a journey to explore unknown civilizations and protect humanity's hope. And along the way, you meet these charismatic love interests like Caleb, who we just saw. And in this new in-game event with Caleb, you can get 2 limited memory cards to unlock his new companion identity. I know, look at the character design. As well, a new storyline where the main character's life is nearing the end, so Caleb needs to kill ghosts to prolong the main character's life. Very dramatic, very romantic. There's also new interactive mini-games, puzzles, and limited time tasks to claim items and rewards. And of course, the battle effects of the new companion of Caleb look fantastic. So definitely check out the popular Love and Deep Space game if you haven't already. And now that we are in a romantic mood, it is the perfect timing to draw myself with a hot dude. So I chose this simple angel devil template because we did just talk about Chinese style Hades. So hello, angel viyaura and a mysterious demon boy. Now the thing about male chibis is you gotta draw their eyes very sharp, very sleek, very straight. Well, obviously you don't have to, but it definitely works out in this case. Also, I was so unsure how to draw demon-inspired shoes, like pointed, but it kind of looked like elves, and I don't know, I just had no idea. And then I challenged myself to draw basic anime boy-looking hair in one go, and look at that. I think I did this in like 20 seconds. I changed up the bangs a little bit to make it look less like Bakugo, and I decided to quickly just shade this one in to show you that you don't need to add tons of rendering and different colors to make a piece look good. Sometimes basic values just gets the point across and still looks really good and really finished. So after adding some final touches, a few sparkles, a few feathers, some roses and thorns, here is the final piece. Hold on, I think I did my voice voiceover a little bit too fast, so I'm still drawing the roses right now. Sorry, I think sometimes I talk a little bit too fast and then it takes a while for the video to catch up. Anyways, it's been so long since I've drawn a guy chibi, and I think he looks pretty dashing, so I will give this a 7.9 out of 10. And let's move on to the medium level. Trust me, when I saw this one, I was like, I have to do it because there is a capybara. Just to switch up the look a little bit, I'm gonna use the yummy textured coloring brush. And of course, we're gonna start off with the lovely rodent. Actually, you know what? Last time we straight up traced it and I didn't really like the feel of that. So we are just gonna draw our own over here and just use it as reference. I feel like I've drawn so many capybaras in this lifetime. Actually, not even lifetime. Like in this year, I have drawn so many capybaras. Now, because the capybara's eyes are closed, I kind of want mine to be open just to spice it up a little bit. Would it be weird if like my towel had a hole just so my cowlick could come out? I'm gonna do that. And the sparkle is just gonna be like a towel design on the towel. So smart. I probably shouldn't say I'm smart. So here you are on time-lapse mode while I finish up the rocks really quick, and then it was finally time to move on to my favorite part, coloring. Coloring really is where everything just comes together. This would actually be such a cute wallpaper. Wait like just a few seconds, I'll put it on screen when I'm finished, and it can actually be your wallpaper. Who knows, if you want a little viyaura in a hot spring with a capybara wallpaper. Also, someone once asked me, they're like, can you fill in color like faster on Procreate? Is there like an easier way to do it? And honestly, no. I pretty much have to like manually color everything in. Unless your lines are like connected, you can like maybe use the paint bucket tool to just like fill it in. But because my lines are very messy and kind of unfinished, I do have to manually color it in, unfortunately, so it does take a while. But if you are new to Procreate, I do have a mini beginner digital art class, complete beginners, where we go through like all of Procreate's basic stuff, my secret tips and tricks, all that, just in case you're interested. It's right there. Anyways, I think now we can move on to coloring the capybara. Important thing about cappies, their hands and their ears are slightly darker, and they also have this very iconic kind of like rounded triangle shape at their snout. But what color should its floaty be? No, that's too close to its body. Maybe purple? Purple. Purple's cute. Okay, let's do purple. Oh my gosh, I just realized bald viyaura can make a comeback. I don't know why I'm so insistent on making myself bald, but I think it's cute. Like the little bald shine. Anyways, okay, time to color the leaves. You know what I love about adding the greenery, the plants, is you can also do it on top of the liner, and it just makes it look like, you know, very natural, like you know what you're doing. And then switch up the color a little bit. Make it a little bit more saturated, slightly darker, add some shadow. Even darker, even more saturated. Go for it. Oh, wait, no, that's a little bit too neon. There we go. No, too dark. There we go. That's a little bit better. And if you're too lazy to draw all those dots, I get it. Boom, Ghibli nature set. And then you can just, look at that. In like 2 seconds, foliage anywhere you want. You know what? Maybe I actually should not be an art teacher, because I would just be like, guys, do whatever you want. Like, go crazy, draw plants everywhere, just do what you feel. And after adding a few more shadings to the water and the rocks, because we gotta add the highlight, it just adds so much more oomph, a lot more depth. We are now finally finished viyaura inside a sauna or a hot spring with a capybara and a lot of plants. So you already know I'm gonna give this an 11 out of 10. Please enjoy this free wallpaper, and let's move on to the next level. Also, shout out to bald viyaura. There's already 2 of her. Alright, this time let's use a Dreamy Sketch. Now, this one is hard medium because I cannot draw full body. There's something about full bodies that I just cannot do. So we are specifically going to focus on this full body pose. And also, this girl is crouching. When was the last time I've ever drawn someone crouching? Like, never. I think never. But you know what? Never say never. Today, viyaura will draw her first ever crouching person. Also, I cannot draw hands, so it's just gonna be this oval thing for now. And then for the legs, just kind of like a weird shape like that, because you know, for my pants, they're like really big and fluffy, so I don't think I need to get the legs down exactly, if you know what I mean. Art hack: if you don't want to draw anatomy, just draw really baggy clothing to cover it all up. But now that we have the basic sketch down, it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, I was gonna say we should also try to just do bald viyaura for this one again, but I feel like you guys want to see me draw some hair. Okay, I know bald viyaura may make a comeback back later on. But for this one, let's give myself some hair. By the way, sometimes my hair is like straight, sometimes it's a little bit wavy, so I'm just mixing up between the two. Also, I cannot draw clothing anatomy. Like the way that clothing falls, I have such a hard time guessing how it falls. So I am kind of struggling with the sleeves over here. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing, you guys. And then kind of the same thing for the pants. Very baggy, so I'm just gonna kind of guess where all of these folds are gonna go. And last but not least, the iconic delusional sparkles on my head to represent delusionality. Another quick art hack and viyaura little thing that I do, I like to shave down my line art because I like thin line arts in some places, thick in some places. How should the mouth go? Should I be shocked? Or should I be a little bit happy? Maybe like, oh my gosh, what is on my hand? I don't know what it should be, but for now, let's make it like a really, really ugly looking bird of some sort. Maybe like a round chickadee. Okay, basic sketch done. Let's do some flat colors. I mean, now thinking about it, I would be particularly shocked if this landed on my hand, you know? Anyways, okay, basic flat colors down. I'm so sorry. I'm really debating if I should keep it like this. What if we just make its eyes a little bit bigger? Cute, you know, I'm gonna keep it. It's gonna be a bright yellow chickadee. Okay, I keep saying chicken and chickadee. Let me just search up really quick what the difference is. Okay, it's the shape of a chickadee, but I guess the color of a chick. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little, just one more layer of shading. I'm not gonna go too overboard. I gotta save that for the harder ones. The chickadee here is the star of the show. Okay, I can't draw attention away from it. The star is the chicken/chickadee. Okay, here is the final result for the hard medium. This is my first time doing a full body kneeling, and I think we did all right. I am pretty proud. I will give her a 7.6 out of 10. Wow, look at the viyaura verse we have created here. Alright, we are now on the hard level. Already, you already know, your girl's gonna struggle because I cannot draw full body, let alone in this pose. Now, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I feel like a lot of things could go wrong here. Starting off with that hand. Look at that hand. I'm so sorry. You know, I just want to know, which monster thought that this pose would be a good pose to draw? Okay, wait, I know for this, the calf, you have to remember the curve for this. So you gotta do the curve. Yep. That is what makes it a calf. Also, can't forget the knee. I almost forgot the knee. Now remember, this is all warm up for the fight. Wow, look at that shoe. Oh my gosh. Anyways, this is all warm up. The hard one, we gotta save up all our mana, all our skill for the final hard detailed template. This is like a pre-game. We're like warming up. We're slowly warming up. This is the anatomy warm-up, okay? I already know the final one is gonna be some odd dynamic posing. Yeah, this is like the worst shoe I've ever drawn. I'm not even an artist at this point looking at this shoe. Okay, but I think we have the basic structure down. And you might be like, viyaura, that's like not even that bad. And let me tell you, the hard part is like putting in the detail. The hard part is not this quick sketch. The hard part is integrating the different hair, clothing, and how like the clothing falls in this angle. Honestly, at this point, I might not even color this because I feel I gotta save up my skill for the final one. I can't just use it all in this one. The hair is just gonna be splayed out, all messy on the ground, just like so. Listen, big sleeves saves lives. This is why I chose myself to wear really baggy clothing. It's just a little bit easier to draw. And also, I just really like wearing baggy clothing. It still might be a little bit questionable, but I think it's a nice little art hack, you know? Yes, I am running away from my responsibilities. And now I'm going to struggle with drawing the hands. Yep, you can see, I don't think I will ever understand it properly, but it still kind of looks like a hand. Look at this world record longest pinky. And once again, with the pants, very baggy to avoid proper anatomy. They're kind of tucked in here at the socks, but overall, very baggy. And I am just kind of guessing where the wrinkles are gonna go. I don't remember the last time I wore heels, so of course we are gonna draw myself wearing socks. When was the last time I drew feet? Like, I don't know. Yo, well, okay, these are actually pretty good feet. I'm kind of proud of that. That is the best part of this drawing. Okay, overall, just quick rundown. This is actually not bad. This is a great pre-game warm-up. I'm actually quite proud of this. Genuinely, I was a little bit scared about picking this because I was like, can I even draw this? Will this even turn out looking okay? And I think it's like not bad. Okay, now that we have this masterpiece, should we color it? Maybe we'll go black and white. Should I go black and white? No, of course not. I don't want you guys to think that I'm lazy or cutting corners because I am not. I take this very seriously. So here is a very nice colored sketch. A great, fantastic pre-game warm-up. I will give this a surprising 6.8 out of 10. And let's move on to the next level. Ooh, hello. This is actually future Viyaura here, where I'm actually finished this challenge. So I've finished the entire drawing, and let me tell you, this actually turned out to be one of my favorite drawings ever. Just a quick disclaimer, I kind of went into like tutorial mode where I went really in depth about some of my art tips and tricks and processes. So it is a little bit longer, and if you're just here for the quick editing, the challenge, and you just want to see the result and dip, this section might be a little bit boring. So, you know, just leave me on playing in the background while you're doing something else. But if you are curious and want to know more about my art process, coloring, tips and tricks, all that, you definitely do not want to skip this for free, of course, in this next section. So once again, this is Viyaura from the future, where I have already finished the art piece over here. I'm just zoomed in so you don't see it. But yeah, try hard tutorial mode Viyaura. Take it away. Okay, so for this one, I decided to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing that setup, I'm gonna lock in and I'm going to genuinely put in 1010% to try and make this like the best recent drawing that I've ever done, which means I probably won't be able to record every single second, just because I feel like my best work comes if I can take like little pauses in the middle, so I can't just like film it in one go like I did for the previous ones. But this is what we have so far. As always, I always focus on the face first, and for this one, I'm gonna use the Yummy Textured Coloring Brush. Might mix in a little bit of Dreamy Sketch, but for now, I'm feeling the Yummy Textured. I was midway drawing in the hair, and I was like, wait, this should have been Bald Viyaura comeback, right? Hello, so this is editing mode Viyaura because I think this is the perfect time for me to do Viyaura Art Tips 101, because sometimes it's just hard for me to like explain some art tips that I'm doing while I'm doing it because I'm like trying to focus, but I am now here ready to share some art tips. Okay, so art tip number 1, what I'm doing on screen right now is something that I call shaving down the line art. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of really thick line art, so what I do is I use the eraser using the same brush that I did to draw. So again, in this case, I'm using the Yummy Textured Coloring Brush, and I'm using that on the eraser mode and just lightly carving down the line art to make it a little bit more thin. And then you might be wondering, okay, then why didn't you just use thin line art to draw to begin with? Technically, I could have, but I just find it for some reason easier to use a thicker brush when drawing to kind of just block out the shapes first, and then after using the eraser to kind of define the shape even more. So lastly, you can see that I'm really struggling with drawing my hand, but once I kind of got that done, the line art was technically finished. Quick art tip number 2 is I like to use the skin color and just lightly brush around the hair area. It just makes the skin blend in with the hair a lot more, and it kind of makes the hair look a little bit more translucent, like there's not that much hair around the face, if that makes any sense. Viyaura art tip number 3, this is kind of a lazy art hack, is I only do 2 levels of shading in a way. And what I mean by that is I just do the flat colors, and then I do another layer on top on multiply mode using the same color as the flat color. So now it's a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated, and I just put in the basic blockings of shading. Sometimes I even stop there and I just don't even do the highlights, but then the second layer of shading is then kind of the highlights and the low lights, like some darker shadings, and then that's kind of it. I don't go too overboard when it goes to shading because I find when I do that, I just never want to stop shading. Typically, I now do just like 2 or 3 layers of shading, and then I'm like, I'm good, I'm done. So that is exactly what I did for the hair and the skin. You can see it's not too intense, it's just very basic shading, but it still gets the point across. Okay, yeah, so this so far has taken over an hour and a half. So clearly that is why I could not sit down and like finish this in one go. And now I have a really bad habit of just rendering the face and the hair, and then I just don't want to do anything else. But I have to, don't I? Okay, let's go. Look, I'm actually such a fake. Right where I'm supposed to draw the hand, I just cut it off because I cannot draw another hand. I really didn't like the wings shape, so let's just completely get rid of that and start over with that. Now, you don't have to listen to me, but a technique that I like to do is instead of going in with line art, I just block in really big colors, and that just kind of acts as like my shape, like my shape holder without the need of doing line art. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of like a wing shape. And then here is the other one. The second tier is maybe here and there. And then I don't need to do any liner and I can just like shade in the wings based on their size. Hello, this is editing mode viyaura from the future again. Yes, I told you I went pretty hard into tutorial mode. I don't know why, but a lot of you guys have been asking for like more art processes and tutorials, art tips and tricks. So hopefully this acts as a pretty good idea, understanding video of how I do things. I feel like technically I should have made an entire video on itself with my entire art process. I don't know why I left it for this video. It's kind of random. So I'm sorry. I'm a little bit disorganized, but yeah, hopefully it's okay. And let's get back to past viyaura. All right, now I'm working on rendering the clothing. And this is why I say I cannot keep like a solid art style because I'm always changing things around. Like typically I use the multiply layer, this one when I'm doing my shading, but for some reason I was like, you know what, today I'm feeling screen. I don't know. I have never used it before, but for some reason it looks kind of cool, so I kind of want to work around it. And not that I know anything about fabric and like how they fold, but my go-to is this like thin to thick shape, kind of in like triangular shapes like that. I don't really... What shape is this? Like just a blob with kind of a tiny little point. So with that brush, I just kind of put it in like where the fabric should be kind of scrunched. And then sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit extra, I use the eraser, again using the same brush, and just kind of hollow out the shading. I don't know why, but it makes it look cool sometimes. And that's what I mean by 3 levels of shading, because there's this level and then this one. That's the second level and then the third level. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. 3 is enough. But I think this is looking pretty good so far. Okay, now I am on to my favorite step, which is just adding all the little details. Like I just added some tiny little jewelry here and there. So I'm using the randomized oval brush from the textured rendering set, and look at this. It's just gonna look like little jeweled beads. Look at that. Like I love a beautiful jeweled headpiece. That could look pretty good. Like if I just draw a tiny little delusional sparkle here, I could then kind of do a little wraparound headpiece. I don't know. Or does that look a little bit too convoluted there? Yeah, it could just be like that. Very dainty, kind of subtle. I could then just highlight this halo a little bit more. I also used the rectangular brush over here just to give it some cool dimension. I mean, even if it's not jewels, I sometimes just like to put it around the rim just to give it kind of more of a different fabric feel. I don't know. Sometimes I just like to experiment around with these ones and just like maybe put some different colors in the hair. And that is the before and after. In the 3D Essentials brush pack, there's also this ribbon brush, where I don't know, I feel like I already kind of went crazy with all the debris flying around everywhere. But finishing touches also includes adding a lot of different multiply layers, some glow layers. Again, there's no really set of rules for this. I just play around with the different colors and the different layers and just try new things every single time. And because I had wings, I kind of wanted to create some motion, so I used some motion blur, I used some flying debris here and there. But yeah, just the finishing touches step is probably my favorite next to rendering the hair and the skin. And finally, after 4.5 hours, here is the final piece. Overall, it's just such a cool piece. Like, I have never drawn something of this type, and I never think of drawing this concept or this pose, so definitely the Pinterest template helped a lot. You can see their template here, and this is my rendition. So, Pinterest templates, are they good? I guess they are, because this is like my new favorite drawing. So, of course, I'm gonna rate this like a 20 out of 10. It was actually quite very hard, and it was very time consuming, but definitely super worth it. So finally, here are all the pieces. Let me know which one is your favorite. Mine is definitely the last one. However, Bald Viyaura definitely deserves some sort of award too. But I think that is all for this video, and that's all for me right now. Bye! Hello, welcome back to Viyaura Secret After School Club. We're here, I give you some behind the scenes and some updates on what I'm up to. Listen, what I am up to today is reminding you what is coming up April 1st. is coming up. If you know, you know. If you don't know, watch last week's video. Watch the end of it. I explain a good thing that we're gonna do on April 1st. If you already know, then this is just your reminder that it's coming up very, very soon. I believe 96 hours, April 1st. Come to my channel, watch the most recent video, and play along. Again, if you are confused, just watch last week's video, the end of it. But if you know what's up, I will see you soon. Okay, bye.